is what is eliciting an emotional response. And so, people oftentimes think that in order to heal, negative emotions in their life, they have to sort of look backward and find all the reasons for why those problems exist and sort of dig through it. And the reality is that you can only experience a negative emotion if you're focused on something that is, generating that negative emotion. Most people can make themselves cry in under 5 minutes by simply pulling up a really sad memory from their life. And it's recognizing that you don't have to do that, that in fact you can sort of focus on things that elicit positive emotion. And what that does is it generates a certain set of chemicals in the brain that then continue to perpetuate themselves and have a lot of sort of positive impact, on the brain, and actually open up the creative problem-solving process of the mind, which is what we, need in order to be able to create future experiences for ourselves. So it's recognizing that, what we pay attention to is determining our emotional experience, and that we have control over what we pay attention to.
So what you're saying kind of is that you can only experience the past in the present, right?
You can only, right, so the present is the only place that we exist. It's the only place that we can experience any emotion. What we give our attention to in the present moment is what's going to produce, any sort of emotion for us. So recognizing that,
there's really no past in this way. But based on what you're saying, there's really no past, right? It's all present.
It's all present. I wouldn't say the past, I wouldn't go so far as to say the past hasn't existed. It's that we don't have to kind of continue to bring it forward with us. We don't have to continue to direct our attention to it. And the only way that we can, relive the past is to direct our attention to it. And that's something we don't have to do. That's
huge. That is so huge, Doc. That puts psychotherapy out of business, correct? I mean, the past, basically, it seems like.
My own view is that, about psychotherapy, whether we're learning about, ourselves in the past, the present, or the future, is that it's all about learning. It's all about, understanding how our brain works, what we can do differently, how to begin to shift things. And so, I wouldn't say psychotherapy is out of business. I would just say that, learning how to, direct our sort of attention is a very powerful part of the process that people learn in psychotherapy.
Okay, we got a couple minutes here. Let's get to tips for thriving. You have an acronym you call SMART, S-M-A-R-T. Tell us a little bit about that.
So SMART is a acronym that has been used actually by many people in the field of sort of goal setting, and it really just talks about, how to break down a goal in a very effective way. So, the S stands for, specific, so it's about, really learning how to sort of be more specific about what you're thinking of. The M stands for measurable. The A stands for, attainable. The R stands for relevant. Is this relevant to, your value system? And the T stands for, a time frame, so creating a time frame around it. And we know from the research that this is a very effective way to begin to create a goal and to think about our goals. And it's very different from how the average person creates goals. Most of the time, people create goals in this sort of very vague way, and then they wonder why it's so difficult to achieve, because they're sort of missing a lot of these, components of, the sort of SMART acronym that really begins to help define it, clarify it in your mind. And as you're more defined and clarified, your brain starts to work on helping you to achieve it. So as it's, very clear in your mind what it is you're trying to achieve, you now activate this problem-solving part of the brain called the executive network, which begins to generate ideas for how to help you achieve your goal.
How does visualization fit into this whole picture? When we talk about clarity, I'm thinking that you got to have a sort of clear vision. And when I think of visualization, I think of pictures. Is that accurate?
Exactly. Visualization. So one of the things with SMART is it forces you, as you're being specific, to create a visual image in your mind. And one of the things that we know is helpful in achieving goals is to be able to visualize things. More specifically, really being able to visualize the entire process of achieving your goal is what the research shows to be effective. Sometimes people talk about, sort of visualizing just the outcome or what it would feel like once you achieve it. we know that that by itself is not necessarily effective, and in some instances can actually be self-destructive to a goal. But what we know that works really, really well is being able to visualize yourself, going through the entire process, achieving sort of each step, getting over the obstacles, really working yourself through it. And that, visualization is something that's been used in many different fields for a long time. Sports psychology uses it all the time to help athletes achieve, higher performance levels. So it's something that is very, very effective.
Where does journaling or writing come in?
Journaling can be very effective. I like to get people to journal about the process of what we call what can go right as opposed to what can go wrong. Because a lot of times when people are thinking of their future, they're oftentimes focusing on all of the things that can go wrong. And what journaling does is it's drawing more attention to something specific. So as we talked about earlier, this process of attention, there's many ways that you can direct your attention. Journaling is a way you can do it, via the process of writing. As you're writing, you're focused on, whatever it is that you're writing about. So it's about giving people topics that are going to direct their attention in a way.
So it all comes down to focus and attention, what you're putting in on this limited stage that we have, what we're putting on this limited stage in terms of our attention. Dr. Vilhauer, we're out of time. Thank you so much for joining us. The book is Think Forward to Thrive. Good luck with everything, Doc. I think you're doing great work. Appreciate it very much. Take care.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk about it.
God bless. Have a beautiful day. Okay, the book is Think Forward to Thrive. You can get it off Amazon. You can get it at any bookstore. Dr. Janice Vilhauer, thank you so much for joining us on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Tomorrow we'll continue talking about nitric oxide, and we'll talk a little bit about anxiety issues and how that all works in, how that all plays in together. That's all the time we have for today. Have a wonderful
We the people grow cotton, weave fabric, engrave ink, embed strips and fibers to protect from counterfeit, then carting to a private bank, having it lent back at interest, forcing taxes to service debt. This capitalism, or was Jefferson correct when stating a central bank issuing the public currency is a greater menace to the liberties of the people than a standing army? Ted Anderson, I'm placing a free silver dollar in a book that explains our monetary system. Call for your copy, 800-686-2237. It's time to understand the system. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
Virtually anyone can hack your cell phone and track your calls, your texts, your emails, your every movement, but only if they can detect a signal. Stay one step ahead of hackers and Big Brother with a Block-It Pocket, a custom-made pocket infused with pure silver that creates a complete Faraday enclosure for your cell phone. For free shipping to the lower 48, visit blockitpocket.com or call 888-315-9618. blockitpocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
The experts at Web.com want to build your business a successful website for free, just like we did for these current Web.com customers.
We've used and looked at other website designers, but there's nobody better than Web.com.
Web.com can build your website in as little as 7 days free. Plus, we'll promote it on all the major search engines like Google, Yahoo, and Bing. If after 30 days you're happy, we'll continue to provide promotion, hosting, support, and maintenance, all for one low monthly fee. If not, cancel and pay nothing.
If you're in business today and you don't have a web presence, you won't be taken seriously.
Call right now and you'll also get a free .com or .net domain name for your new website powered by VeriSign, the world's leading domain name provider.
Call 800-297-0154. That's 800-297-0154.
No upfront charge for site build, after which ongoing fees apply. Rights to site are relinquished when canceled. Domain includes